Okay, we should be live. I'm gonna check my stuff. We have just got one more minute. We will dive right into content, you guys. I'm so sorry. We double tested all of our technology and then true to form, it kind of crashed on us. So let me open up my live page here. Let me know if you can see me. Hey guys, sorry about that dang tech glitch. And of course, it's not actually letting me type it. If you can read this but not see the video, hit refresh. Okay, guys, I am so sorry. You gotta love tech. It never plays nice with you. So you gotta roll with the punches. This is a perfect way to start our training because sometimes this stuff happens. So we're starting about 5 minutes behind schedule. Thank you so much. If you are in the other room, my team's gonna hop in and out there. And again, if you didn't see, we had to move. So I've already reached out. We were on the phone with the company that was hosting our webinars. I'm so sorry about that, but we should be good now. So I want to, before we dive in, I want to do a quick sound check. We are live. It is August 18th at 3:06 p.m. Eastern time. Usually I like to chat for the first 5 minutes anyway, so it's not the end of the world. But let me know if you can see and hear me, because I'm gonna refresh this page and I'm gonna be paying attention to the chat box, as is my team. So a couple of shout outs because I saw some people are here. Let me know where you're calling in from. We'll do like 60 seconds of hellos, and then we'll dive right in because we're just a teeny behind schedule, but you can't hate on it. Now, for those of you that have been following me for the last few days, I've also been doing, what do you call it? Disney theme. So I showed up in my Disney theme, Walt Disney World. I got my coffee is Disney theme. And unfortunately I had to stop by Starbucks and grab a tea, but it's not Disney, it's just Starbucks. So you like Starbucks and Disney, you're in the right place. So a couple shout outs. We've got Puerto Morales from Mexico. We've got people from DC, from the UK. We've got Marie, we've got Emerald Coast, Florida, Juniper Bay. I love it. I'm actually going to be down by Emerald Coast because that is where the Disney cruise takes off, and I will be there. We have somebody from freaking Rome, Italy, you guys. Oh my gosh. Can I just say, y'all are the best. Thank you so much. Again, my team is in the chat, so shout out to Danielle. Again, hit that refresh button if you're not seeing it. She will type that in there. We've got Bernadette from Newfoundland, Canada. I know that this isn't what it's named after, but my friend used to have a really gorgeous Newfoundland dog, and we used to call it Newfies. So that's what I'm bringing to the table. Again, we're live here. Thank you. We're from Las Vegas. Somebody said, take a breath. It's all good. You're about to learn. This is just my energy level. It's about to get crazy. Carolyn from Norway. Guys, we have people from Norway, Baja, Canada, Ireland, the US, Mexico, Sweden. We just have somebody from Sweden. Oh, that's Anna. We literally have people from all over the world. So guys, I just, again, want to give you a big shout out. I know how frustrating it can be when you have to move platforms, and it really just, it kills the vibe. Let's say what it is, right? It kills the vibe. But my goal is to bring the vibe back, still get you in, out it, around it. Let me close my windows in the background because I do screen share. But if you're like me, you've got a million windows open at any given time. So perfect. Okay, let's minimize this sucker. We about to go full screen, so you about to get what I call the wah effect. It doesn't make sense, but it will in a second. So let's get the wah effect ready. There it is, wah. And I'm gonna go full screen here, and I'm gonna watch the chat for just 1 second. I wanna make sure you can see me, hear me, all is good. Let me know if you can see the slide full screen and still hear me in the background. So I'm gonna take a sip of coffee here, and then we'll dive in. Good. It looks like you guys can see and hear just fine. I hear a weird buzzing every once in a while. Is it when I do this? It's because I had my, what you call it? My mic turned up too loud. Good. So everybody's good. Lots of yeses. If you're having tech issues, again, make sure that you hit that refresh button. My team is in the chat, hooking you up. So here we go. Guys, super excited for this live training today on how to turn your 5-day challenges into 5-figure launches. And that's me. I look a little more beautiful when I'm done up for the camera. But let me tell you who I am real quick, just so you get a sense of who you're teaching from. I think it's fair to say that in the digital age, it's super easy to take out a Facebook ad and run ads. So you probably want to know who I am, a little bit about me, but you probably don't want my whole life story. And don't worry, I won't give it to you, but I'll share what's necessary. So my name is Zach. My company is Heart, Soul, and Hustle. And that is the TED-editor-in-chief on the right, Theodore Bearstein, Ted, my little munchkin, and Charlie on the left. They're actually both passed out in the room. There's a guarantee that you're going to hear them make noise at least once. They carry on when they don't get all the attention. So I am the owner of a multiple 6-figure online marketing and digital course business. And in the last 12 months, I've done multiple challenges that have brought in over $20,000 in a single challenge. I've done over 300,000 in digital courses, offers, services in the past year. That number is actually closer to 450,000 now. And my students and I have done over $1 million in sales with the system I'm sharing today in the last year alone. Now, I don't tell you all that to be like, wow, look at how much money Zach makes. I tell you that because I want you to know I am sharing stuff that works. I'm sharing stuff that I've used. I'm sharing stuff that my students use. And truly, if you're on this class learning from me, you deserve to know that this is legit stuff. This isn't, I read it and I repurposed it and now I'm selling it to you, right? This is stuff that I and my students have personally done. But before we actually dive into the content, here's the thing. I want you to get the absolute most out of this workshop. So do me a quick favor. Put your phone down, take your pen out, and let's do this because we have a ton to jam into this hour, okay? So my goal for you is that by the end of this hour, you understand how to use a 5-day challenge to attract leads and convert them to customers, even if you've got a small list, even if you've never launched, or if you're just in that space of, I'm totally overwhelmed. It's like, there's so much going on. What do I do? All the moving pieces. Okay, that's my goal for you, is that you get how it works. My goal is also that you are sympathetic to my typos. No matter how many times I revise this training, I always have typos. So you're gonna spot my typos. I hope you don't mind them. I never claim to be perfect, and hopefully that's okay with you. So my goal is that you love this training, you learn what you need to know, and maybe you spot a typo or two. So I think it's really important that we start here by saying, what exactly is a challenge? And in its most simplistic form, a challenge is 5 days of free content followed up by a weekend of sales, okay? Now, it's a little bit more than that, and you're gonna learn about the system today, but I just like to lay the foundation that you know it's 5 days of training, Monday through Friday. You open up the cart or you offer your product for sale on Friday, and over the weekend, you sell it, okay? So let's lay the foundational work of what is a challenge. Now, you all know me. If you've been following one of my challenges or you've been on my webinar before, you guys know I don't like to be all the attention on me. I mean, I do like attention, but I don't like to be front and center 24/7. So I like to engage with you guys, and I want to know, have you tried to execute a launch of your product or service to the world yet? Okay, so there is a little delay. I see a couple of you guys are telling me that there is a, you're having a little bit of audio issues. So I'm actually going to, you're never gonna see stuff like this. How's that? We're gonna switch audio inputs in real time because we can do that. Okay, cool. So people have said yes, yes, not yet, yes, 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 lots of yeses. Okay, a few no's. I've tried using product launch formula. It didn't work very well. I've launched, but I didn't get a lot of signups. No. Okay. Good. So we have a healthy mix. So much better. Good, good, good. We have a healthy mix of yeses and nos. So here's what I want to know. For those of you that are saying yes, have you been happy with the results? And for those of you that said no, I want to know what's holding you back. And really, what is it costing you if you don't change it fast and get it out there? So we have people saying, don't worry. Somebody said my audio is a little quiet. We'll get this. We'll get this. There we go. Now you can hear me. Somebody said, no, on a small scale, it was okay, but my follow-up was just average. I was halfway happy, not really happy with the results. I didn't have a list. I'm certainly not happy with the results. I used a formula and no success. Yes, I got results, but no, I wasn't happy with them. I only sold one. I spent a ton of money on Facebook ads, but no return. Okay, guys, these are super normal concerns. No traffic. I launched and it failed miserably. Okay, cool. Well, not cool that it failed, but cool because what I want you to know is you are in the right place, okay? You are in the right place if you want to launch your product or service to the world and actually know that you're going to make sales. You want to know that you're not just trying to make it work, you're actually plugging into a system, right? I think we can all agree our first launch or two were like, you throw it all at the wall, but you're just hoping to make sales. You don't really know what's going to happen. You're definitely in the right place if you're currently selling your products and services online and you want more customers or just bigger profits. For those of you who said, I've done a launch and I got one, or I have a small list, or I've put it out there, but it's not, it's not that good money, you're in the right place, okay? And you've been told that a launch is key. You know that like, if I want to make it big online, I need to launch. And you get it in theory, right? Run traffic, open up your cart, sell your products, close it. But when you go to do it, it just doesn't pan out and you're really, really ready for change. Now, the last thing I will say is you're in the right place if you don't mind if someone provides about an hour of value and then shares an offer to continue working with them. I am someone who is not afraid to tell you, I have worked on my webinar. We've been perfecting this training for almost a year now. And at the end, I'll tell you about my advanced challenge training program. So if you're someone who's going to go, ugh, I knew it was a sales pitch, it's probably not for you. But if you're someone who's ready for the next 30 to 40 minutes of good content based around what I promised on that opt-in page you would get, then you are in the right place. You guys ready? You ready? You ready? You ready? Let's do this. So we're going into the content, and here is the thing. No questions asked. You need a launch. I think it's safe to say at this point, you know you need a launch. You know that launches do massive things for your business. You know that a launch is really that kind of missing piece. You've probably gotten to that point and you're like, okay, I get it, right? And just a quick little side note, I see that there's questions in the chat, but I just want you to know, I take questions at various times so that we stay focused on the content. My goal is to be a facilitator of content, all right? So we all know that we need a launch. I think it's pretty dang safe to say. I already see a bunch of people who are like, yes, I do need a launch. But here's the reality. The truth is you probably feel a little bit uneasy about a launch, either because of something that's happened in the past, your launch didn't go well, or the fact that you haven't even launched yet. And you're like, everybody's telling me how to launch and what do I do? And I read this here and I read that there. I love it. People are saying, no argument. I love it. But you feel uneasy because what I want you to know is you probably have one of these 3 launching fears. And I'm going to share these fears with you in the hopes that you realize you are not alone. Not only are you not alone, but we see this all the time. Fear number 1, you're saying, I don't have a list or an audience and I have no idea how to find them. Like, this is one I hear all the time. Zach, I absolutely want to launch, but I don't have a list. So what the heck do I do? Right? I also hear this one all the time. I really want to launch, but I don't want a big pushy launch where all I do is sell, and people despise me for it. And people are like, oh my gosh, you're all over my newsfeed. Ugh, get out of my inbox. You're afraid of that. You've seen one of these launches where you're like, I'm going to need a shower after reading all these emails, and I don't want people to feel like that about me. Or you got this third fear. And this is a big one right now because in today's age, all the information is out there. And you're saying, even if I wanted to launch, how the heck do I pull all the pieces together without throwing my dang computer at the wall? Because I've got a lead page to my opt-in page, which connects to my live stream, which goes to this and that. And before you know it, you're like, what was I doing? Where am I? And you just are like, I'm gonna go to Starbucks, right? That's my go-to. Right? Bernadette said, that's me. So I want to know, what is yours? Type your answer below, because you guys know, 2-way engagement. I don't do teaching webinars. I do engaging webinars. At least that's what I tell myself. So what's yours? What is the big thing that's stopping you from doing a launch? Sue says, number 3, that's so me. Overwhelm is real. Yes, Sue, it totally is. Bernadette said, I need the step-by-step. Julie said, I love it. I relate to those. And because, guys, one of the reasons, if you got here late, we did switch webinar platforms. And unfortunately, this one comes with like a 30-second delay. So bear with me, okay? Okay, 1, 2, and 3, totally overwhelmed. Yes, that's what it's like. Totally have all 3. How do I put it together? What about tech? Finding my tribe. Number 1 is so me. Okay, guys, what I want you to know is I totally get it. I totally get it. Because here's the thing. I was just like you when I started.
And the reality is I can sit here, but I want you in the chat box, just type in a 5 if you can relate to this. You're like, of course you get it, Zach, because maybe you were there one day, but like, I'm different because I'm just getting started, or it's harder when you're getting started, or you don't have the vantage point that I have. It's okay. I feel you. I remember that feeling when I first started watching trainings and webinars. I was like, this guy's going to tell me it's so freaking easy. And like, it is easy for him, right? Well, that's why I pulled a couple of testimonials for my students. This is Ashley, and she said, I've been just a photographer for the past 7 years. She said, with the release of my online class, it's been even cooler to connect with a bigger audience and be seen as the expert. She had 700 people sign up for her challenge when previously her list was only 200. There's that small list. And I also had $1,000 profit after ads, which was cool. That's an extra $1,000 stream I can only grow now, and I have a system to relaunch again and again. Okay, so here's the thing. It's not just me. It's my students saying it, right? There's also Lindsay, who I just love this testimonial. She said, I really believe that Zach's system is the way to go big right out of the gate. I made $250 last month. This month, I surpassed my teaching salary for the month. I wasn't expecting this, but what I gained was confidence and clarity. Prior to this, I was flying by the seat of my pants, but I knew that Zach had a well thought out system. Okay. So I want you to see that I can sit here all day and say this is simple, but I wanted to give you 2 examples of people who were just getting started. But what about me, right? Why should you even listen to me? Well, I personally started back in February of 2015 with my current brand, and I developed my first ever course, and I was like, I'll just throw it out there, maybe do a few webinars. And here's the thing. I failed, like big time failed. And I know what you're thinking, like, Zach, what is big time failed? How bad? Well, here's the thing. I sold 3 courses, which you're probably like, yes, 3 courses. That's awesome for your first attempt. Except one person said, you know what? Just refund me my money. This is not for me. One person said, can I give you back the course and just get an hour of your time, because this course is totally useless to me. There's not enough people in the Facebook group and I'm not getting what I need. And one person said, you know what? I believe in your vision and your mission. Keep my $147 is what it cost at the time, which was so cool. That person has gone on to actually buy other products from us and continue to be a support. But here is the thing. Why did it fail? Because if you build it, they will not come. See, we have this perception in online marketing. We think that if we create a really great product, that people will want that product and that it will start to take off. But that's not really true. And we know that's not true if we think about it objectively. Think about things like the Apple iPhone, right? Apple comes out with an iPhone every single year, but do you know what they still do? They do a product launch. They come on the stage, they launch the product. Apple, a massive company, one of the top 10 companies in the world. They don't just release a product and throw it out there. Even with the clout, even with the reach, even with the people like me who, if Apple releases it, you best believe it's going on my pre-order list. They still have to launch. Now, fast forward to October, and I decided it was time for like a real launch. And I successfully pulled off a $22,000 launch that really got some eyes on my content. And at that time, I had just left my school. I had just left my master's program about 2 months ago, and I was able to really start to feel confident. Like, I can generate income. I can generate revenue. I can make this work. And what was even cooler is my launches got me noticed. I've now been a 2-time guest on the Online Marketing Made Easy podcast with Amy Porterfield. I love Amy. She's such a sweetheart. We talked once about my live streaming strategies and once about the actual challenge strategy we're talking about today. I actually got featured in Social Media Examiner. I had the opportunity to talk about my Facebook ads and lead generation strategies with them. I was featured as a breakout on Kajabi as one of their success stories. I was invited to the Entrepreneur on Fire podcast. They actually sent out an email that was talking about me. So I reached out and was like, hey, I'm that guy. You should have me on. And they did. James Wedmore, who's become a great friend and mentor, my launches ended up getting me into his mastermind, ended up getting a lot of insight from him. And ultimately, I ended up getting featured in his launch as one of his launch students, which only helped my reach more. Which, here's the thing. Okay, this is going to be fun. How many of you are like, yes, that's what I want? Because remember, I'm taking you back to my start. I'm really here making the case for you absolutely need a launch. If you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, by the end of the next 2 or 3 minutes, you're going to be like, yes, I do need a launch. So how many of you are like, yeah, that sounds great. Like, that's what I want. That's where I am. I'm going to take a little sip of my coffee from my Disney Goofy mug. Yes, Maria says yes. Joanna says yes. Danielle says yes, I want that. Awesome. Here's the thing. We all want that. But can I let you in on a little secret? My launches were exhausting and hectic. And I remember closing out that launch. It was the launch of my Facebook ads program. And I remember having this conversation with myself. I said, how can I launch month after month to bring in the revenue I want? Because the truth was there was no way. I was exhausted. I was dead. I was literally dead to the world for 4 days after that launch. I was like, this is impossible. I can't do this. But one day a friend told me about challenges and I decided, okay, I'm going to build a system and I'm going to test it out. And something really crazy happened. From the inception of the idea to actually doing it, in 2 weeks, I made about $22,331 matching my big October launch. But I did it in 2 weeks. And here's the thing. I know that there's a million ways to launch. And we've already had some people ask, well, what about webinars? But webinars take months to perfect and money to blow. And I don't mean that in a bad way. You're on a webinar right now, right? But we had to spend a ton of money getting people on here. I had to hire a designer to make the slide deck. I've been tweaking this class that you're on for almost a year, and I literally made changes to it this morning. It's an evolving, breathing creature, and you can't just throw it out there in a couple of weeks like you can with a challenge. And don't get me wrong, I love video series. They work incredibly well, but they cost a small fortune and they require an army to create. I have a friend who just did a video series. In total, they spent $20,000 on the video and editing, and that was only about 3.5 days of video plus editing. Plus, you have to write the scripts. Plus, you have to make sure you have good video people and you know what you want. See, a video series isn't just 4 videos. It's specifically scripted and designed to make sales. So the big thing is like, why challenges? Why a challenge launch? We know a launch is important. We all agree. Lots of us are agreeing in the chat. Why challenges? Well, let's look at these side by side. In October of 2015, 3 months of hustle, 20 grand. March 2016, 2 weeks to plan and execute. So these 2 circles here represent the amount of work and hustle and grit, right? And Daryl said something really great that I want to speak to, which is, I do video series and they don't cost a fortune. Come on, that's right. You can do a video series on the cheap. But what a lot of people don't talk about with video series is they have to be 4 parts. And if you are new to video series, you really should be hiring a copywriting scripter, right? So if we just go through the general roles for a video series that you should have, right? Because the reality is a high converting video is not face to camera. You can do it, but it's not face to camera. If you want a really high converting video series, you need a script writer, you need someone to shoot the video, you need someone to edit the video, you need someone to help you write the scripts and design it, you need the ad budget to run traffic there, and of course you need all the video hosting. Don't get me wrong, can it be done for less than $20,000? Absolutely. But is it worth all the hustle when comparatively the work can be the same, right? So when we look at the revenue is the same, right? Work, dramatically bigger before challenges. Revenue, the same. Okay? So what I did was I took that challenge and I engineered a system, and that's what I'm going to do with you today. Now, do you guys remember those launch fears we just talked about? Are you kind of like, oh my gosh, I still have these fears? Well, let me tell you something. This system is specifically designed to address those fears. Number 1, a 5-day challenge when following this system does not require an existing list. We've watched people go from essentially non-existent list to launch. Okay. That doesn't mean it doesn't require you building a list, but you don't need to have a list right now to have your first launch. At the end of this 5 days, rather than feeling pushy, people will actually leave you thank you notes. So we actually just did a challenge, and I talked about this a little bit in our challenge, where one of the comments that got left on our last day, which was really, really cool to see, it's actually a past customer, which I feel like I should share with you just for the sake of full disclosure. But she said something along the lines of like, this has been the best 5 days. I'm sorry it's over. Can't wait to see you on the other side. Now, I've been direct with you. I've been direct with you on this webinar. I've been direct to my challenge. There's something for sale on Friday at the end of today, right? And yet that person is still thankful that I showed up. So unlike other content where it's like pushing at them and convincing them to convert, this builds a relationship that ultimately leads to a sale. And finally, I'll show you how to get the exact blueprints, templates, sales scripts, and remove all the overwhelm, because the overwhelm is ever so real. I'm gonna show you how to remove those blocks and get the results you're looking for. So when we go through this content, we're gonna cover today the critical components that your challenge needs and how to help you create your challenge topic. We're also gonna go through the 3 elements I use in every single challenge that we use to boost engagement, skyrocket conversions, and explode our list growth. Our simple cyclical challenge signup system that lets us boost signups by 20% on all of the challenges we run. And I'm actually going to take you through that case study because I don't want to just throw out to you what my launch did. I actually want to walk you through how we did it. So the only remaining question is, are you ready? And I want you to know, once you comment, I want you to know, are you ready? And do you really understand how important a launch is? So once you say yes, I'm going to mean it's yes for both. I'm ready and launches are important, okay? I know that this first part isn't thrilling, but we need to talk about the importance of launches. I need you to be with me and know that I'm not just saying like launch because of this. I'm saying launch because look at the benefits, look at the growth, okay? People are saying so ready. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. Lots of yeses. You guys are the best. I just want to give you a shout out because when webinars are quiet, they're no fun. Y'all are engaging and popping and I love it. Okay, let's do it. So I want to introduce you to what I call the PSP model. And the PSP model really simply stands for problem, solution, problem. And what this means is there's a problem our customers think they have, right? And this is how we come up with the name for our challenge. They tell us they know they have a problem. So most of you in here, you say things like, I have a list problem, I have a sales problem, I have a traffic problem. But maybe I know the real problem, the second problem is a launch. But until I solve your first problem, you don't care about the problem my program solves. Okay? So if you've been in my challenge, this is what we sometimes refer to as the gap. And I think the best way to explain it is with an example. So for example, we did a 5-day funnel challenge. We helped people set up their perfectly simple sales funnel in about 5 days because the problem my audience was telling me was I don't have enough sales. And we said, well, if you don't have enough sales, then let's set up a sales funnel, right? Because if you don't think you have sales and we say this product makes sales, well, that should solve your problem. But what that really does is exposes their true problem. They need traffic. I know the fact that they don't have sales is because not enough people are seeing their content. But I need to really show them, I need to really show them that they need traffic. I need them to understand that. And then enter my offer, my Facebook ads course, right? It's my Facebook ads course. Even though the challenge was on sales funnel, I'm talking about Facebook ads. Why? Because we solved a problem they thought they had or that they tell us they have. I need more sales with a solution that speaks directly to their desire, not what we know they need, funnels. And then I highlight the new problem, which was always there, traffic. And we did over $15,000 in under 3 days. This was another challenge we did. Okay. So the question is, how do you come up with your challenge topic? You figure out what problem your audience thinks they have, and you solve it to show them how your course solves their true problem. You guys like that? Let me say that again. And if that makes sense, give me a heck yeah in the chat box. Our audience thinks they have a problem. If we solve that problem, it opens up the dialogue to the underlying problems that most of our products, services, and coaching offers. So just one more example. Let's say we're in the health and wellness niche, right? We know that if you want to lose 10 pounds, what it really comes down to is eat clean, exercise, and track, right? But the problem is I want to fit in my wedding dress. So if I say their problem is they want to fit in their wedding dress, challenge, get wedding fit in just 5 days. And then the real problem is, hey, guess what? You need consistency, you need support, you need accountability, but you weren't ready to hear that until you did it for 5 days. Now join my program. Now, one last thing that I want to touch on, because I promised, one of my big promises was I would show you how to come up with your title, okay? The big mistake is that too many people go general. So I want you to answer this question. Which of the following would you sign up for? The 5-day Instagram challenge or the grow your Instagram following by 20% in 5 days. Okay, let me say that again. The 5-day Instagram challenge or get 100 followers in just 5 days with Instagram. 2. Everybody says 2. Yes, it's the second one. Why? Because people don't want to be challenged. They want to get results. So I want you to write this down and put a big star by it. When you're promoting your challenge, you're not calling it a challenge. You're telling them the results you create. Think about this webinar. I didn't call it a, well, I guess this one we did call a challenge webinar because we're teaching challenges. But if you look at the challenge we just ran, we didn't call it a 5-day challenge. We called it a build your 5-day challenge launch in just 5 days training. People want to know specifically what they're going to get and the results they're going to get. They don't want to be challenged. Now, you might be saying, I don't know about that, but I want to introduce you to my friend, Ann Alexson. Now, I love Ann. She's such a sweetheart. If you get a chance, check her out. But we had talked where she was like, well, challenges don't work for mine. And I said, well, what had you done? And we talked that her challenge had been relatively vague. And she said, I had 73 people join that challenge and I made 0 from it. We reworked her challenge, reworked her promise, reworked her promotion, put her through this system, and she had a $10,000 weekend. Same person, same audience, different results. And I love what Ann said. She said, I've been taking courses on how to market and sell and how to grow my tribe for years, and many of them just don't fit the way I wanted to do sales with authenticity, service, and openness. They never seem to fit with my values and how I want to do business. So I did have some concerns that this would be just another process that would not fit my business model. Now, I ran out of space, but what I tell you that because look at this. Ann is a spiritual transformational speaker. She said, I was trying to do it this way. And even though I was afraid of being nervous, this testimonial goes on to say, like, it's okay. It's okay to be nervous. And she was able to speak to her audience and ultimately get past fear number 2 of I'm worried people won't like me. And she ended up getting thank you notes and love and sales from her challenge. Okay. So to recap, we just talked about the problem, solution, problem, which is that is the critical component. If you don't have the PSP model in your challenge, people will not sign up and convert. Okay, that is the big secret. That is the secret sauce. If you take nothing else away from this, take that secret sauce. If you don't start with a problem, people don't care. So now let's talk about the 3 core elements that I use in every single challenge that let me boost engagement, skyrocket conversions, and grow our list. The first thing is a Facebook group. So anytime I run a challenge, I open a Facebook group for it. Now, I might reuse that Facebook group if I repeat the challenge because challenges are duplicatable and scalable, one of my favorite things about them, but I always open a Facebook group and invite people in my challenge to join. Why? Because they encourage accountability and they increase your conversion rate. Now, the reality is when people are in a community that's encouraging and supportive, they're more likely to buy. But even if you're like, well, I don't want to just do it because it makes more sales, it also makes them feel better. Think about the difference between getting a daily email or a daily training versus joining a temporary community with a single goal in mind. We find that people just love the groups, they engage insanely, and it just works so well, okay? The second element is that we always have a live stream training. We always have every day in our 5-day challenge, a live stream training. Why? Not just because it helps get content out there, but it expedites the know, like, and trust process. Here's the thing about live streaming that is just the best, and even this webinar. When I show up here, I can only be so scripted, right? A webinar is not the best example because I literally have a script right here, but I can only be so scripted. At the end of the day, the real you has to come forward and show up. And that's who people connect with. So by going live every day, people get to see they get to see contact from you, they get to see engagement with you, and they get to see who you are as a person and really, really connect with you. Okay. And somebody asked a really great question, which is, is it hard to answer questions, or do you have to answer every question in the Facebook group? And no, you don't have to answer every question in the Facebook group. And in fact, at the level we're at, we're averaging between 500 and 2,000 comments a day, depending, and it's physically impossible to keep up. But what you can do with the group and what we teach people in our program is that if you encourage engagement, you create community support. So even though not everybody got a comment from me, almost everyone in that group, if we did it correct, right, was they got feedback, they got engagement, they got people liking or commenting on their post. No one felt like they were unheard, even if they didn't get all the feedback they wanted, right? Because it's impossible to give feedback to thousands of people, but it still creates that connection, okay? So the last piece, the last core element is daily emails. And these daily emails are designed to do 3 very specific things. Number 1, it gives them a specific, simple 15-minute assignment, okay? Now, it is pivotal that the assignments you give people take no more than 15 minutes. Why? If it takes more than 15 minutes, they get bored, they get frustrated, they get upset, they move on, okay? Giving them an hour assignment, even if it's more valuable, quote unquote, will not work. Why? Because people get distracted. And at this point, remember, they have not invested any money with you. So there's no skin in the game, so to speak, right? They didn't pay to be in your challenge. They didn't pay to be here. So you need to keep it simple and direct for them. That's the first thing. The second thing is it always points them back to our Facebook group to engage with the post for the day or the Facebook post. So we're always driving them back to Facebook so that our emails are also facilitating that community element. And the last thing is we remind them to tune into our live stream training because again, I know that if I can get people on live, engaging with me, connecting with me, and seeing who I truly am, they're going to like me more. Because let's face it, especially in my niche, there's so many messages around about 6-figure this and 6-figure that and blah, 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 that it's like, who really is this guy? But when I get on live stream and I get to show off my Disney mug and my Disney sweater and you get to see my little munchkins in the background, it absolutely changes the way you perceive me. And that's absolutely vital to the process because I care about my students and I can only communicate that so much in writing, but I love communicating that via live stream. Okay. So those 3 core elements again are number 1, Facebook groups, number 2, your live stream training, and number 3, those daily emails. Okay. How you guys feeling so far? I feel like I'm doing a lot of talking, but that's okay. That's literally what a webinar is, right? But tell me, how are you guys feeling about this? We're about to go into the next thing, our cyclical challenge sign-up system, but I want to know, how are you guys feeling about this, right? And again, I see you guys have questions. I just want you to know my team is keeping track of your questions. We're going to take them at the end here, so don't stress. We see your questions, we're grabbing them, we're making a list, and my VA is actually going to ping them over to me, which is going to be really nice. Okay. Yes, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I definitely feel like we became friends during the live stream, and that's it. Right? It's not about showing up on the live stream and being fake or trying to connect. It's about showing up on the live stream, getting to be really authentic. Okay. And that's what's really cool. And whoever just dropped in the Mickey Mouse sticker in the chat, after my heart, S. Podlin, after my heart, right there. I love it. Okay. So let's move on to our cyclical challenge signup system. And this is what we do that allows us to boost signups by up to 20% on all the challenges that we run. So really, what does that mean? Well, to give you some kind of context, when we started our challenge for this one, we had about 3.1 or 2,000 people sign up. If I'm being completely honest, I folded up the piece of paper and set it on my kitchen counter, so I'm guesstimating a little bit, but I'm not overinflating numbers, okay? So we had about 3.1 thousand people sign up for our challenge. Fast forward to this Friday, we actually have over 3,700 people in the challenge. So how did we get an extra 600 people signed up while the challenge was already happening? It's really, really simple and it's really, really cool. We leverage the buzz of our challenge and we leave it open for signups. So remember, part of this system is driving people to engage with you on Facebook, driving traffic and doing all this, this content. Well, all of our daily posts encourage people to sign back up. And what happens is there's 2 ways that you can sign up. You could sign up before we start or after we start. And we simply change the welcome email. If you start before we start, we say, hey, we're starting on Monday. If you start afterwards, we send out this thing that says, hey, we're starting. We already started on Monday, but on Friday, we're going to send you a recap of the entire challenge. And then in our challenge, we actually take the content, throw all of the videos on a lead page, and on Friday, they can recap all of it. We also put a resource roundup inside of our Facebook group, but we make sure that regardless of when they sign up, they're able to engage and join. Now, what's really cool is we see as much as a 50 to 100% increase in signups for the challenge with our students The reason that it's closer to 20 for our challenge is that as you get up into, the multiple thousands of people in a challenge, the effect is lower, right? You're still getting hundreds of people, but it's a smaller percentage. When you're running challenges of like 100, 200, 300, we see this double. My friend Andra Bolin, she did a challenge, started on Monday with 200, ended on Friday with 400. So the other thing to think about is you might be like, well, will those people buy or will they convert? Well, first off, just think about that. What you're already doing could increase your list size. It's just harnessing the power of what you're doing to build your list. And even if they don't buy this time, they can buy next time. We have a ton of people that are literally emailing us just waiting for our cart to open from our last challenge. Okay. And if you're curious what that really broke down to, in our first challenge, it was worth just over $3,000 in sales. So one email and a switch out for me, totally worth $3,000. Okay. Totally worth $3,000. So the last thing I want to cover is the case study of my $22,331 challenge, including what we spent, how we made our money, and how we got all those people signed up. Okay. You guys want to know? You want the behind the scenes scoop? This is the last thing we're going to cover. And then I've got something fun to share with you and then open Q&A, and it's going to be a blast. Cool, cool, cool. I see lots of people are like, oh yeah, let's do it. Okay. I'm going to take a sip of coffee and then we're going to do it. How about that? Okay. So let's do the case study. The topic of my 5-day challenge was how to leverage Periscope for 20 leads and 1 sale in 5 days. So first things first, we led with a very specific outcome, and notice it's not called a challenge. Something super worth noting. Each day, we implemented those 3 core elements. First thing in the morning, we sent them an email with a simple assignment on how to get leads with Periscope. And then we did a live stream training halfway through the day. And then, of course, we had a private Facebook group for all that community. Now, how did we come up with the topic of this challenge? Well, we were listening to our audience and they were saying, the problem, Zach, is I'm not getting traction with live streaming. I know, or I'm not getting traction in my business. I know that there's Periscope and I know this, but I feel like I'm throwing it out into the abyss and I'm not getting people to pay attention. And I said, guys, the easiest way to get people to pay attention to you and get some traction, get some feedback, get people talking is to use live streaming. But the new problem that creates is, well, I can go live, but how do I use this as a system for marketing? I can't just be like, oh, it's 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. I guess I'll go live and hopefully make money. It highlights this new problem of just because you're visible and have traction doesn't mean you have marketing. And so enter my offer. We had a live stream training program. We actually don't sell this right now, but it was a $197 rock your live streams, right? And here's what's really cool. And I always like to step back and explain this because it's kind of a duality here, which is for the sales of the challenge system that we teach and the challenge that we get testimonials for. On day 5, we do a live stream that pitches the product as the solution and follow it up through the weekend via email. You heard that right. The sales piece for our challenge system is to do a live stream. You do not need to do a webinar like this. We do a webinar because we have so many people that sign up, and I've worked on this webinar and the feedback from my audience has been that they want that. But we know that this system unequivocally can make over $100,000 without a webinar. And it's really important that you get that, okay? Some of our more advanced students, they like to integrate a webinar, kind of like what I'm doing, but this is my favorite part. No webinar required. And it works. And I've done it without a webinar to prove it. And I've had my students do it without a webinar to prove it. So on day 5, we went live and we said, hey, so you've gotten some leads, you've gotten some sales. Do you know how to keep it going? Oh, you don't? Join my live stream program. Cool. Now, as far as the cyclical challenge, guys, English is my first language, right? Okay, let's try that again. In terms of the cyclical challenge sign-up system, we started with 1,100 people signed up for the challenge. And after we did that, we ended up ending with 1,292. That means we had 192. Nope, just kidding. Yeah, I'm doing the math right there. We had 192 people join, which is a 17% increase. We brought in an additional 192, almost 200 leads just by leveraging our buzz and switching out that welcome email. Pretty cool little trick, right? Of course, you want to know what we spent ads on. We spent less than $1 per lead to promote the challenge. However, we like to be super transparent. I focused on my warm audience. I focused on people who knew me, but my clients are getting $1 to $2 leads with our system because we actually teach you in our program how to warm people up, okay? So you spend less than $1, and we also do some really strategic retargeting. So once people go through our challenge, we're gonna retarget them to the sales page, to the recap pages, and when all was said and done, we end up spending a little over $1 per lead total, and we generated $22,000 in sales. Now, our day 5 live stream, like I said, you don't have to do a webinar, but that day 5 live stream where we went live, we ended up generating $5,000 in sales. And I did 2 more live streams that weekend just to get a little bump. And we ended up doing over $500 from each additional stream that weekend. So it works pretty dang well. So the final results were 104 people bought the product, which was an 8% conversion from the number of people in the challenge. And we had 19 people grab a $97 upsell. Now, we ended up using an upsell. It works really well, and it's just worth disclosing that to you. I'm all about transparency and disclosure. So here's the thing. When all was said and done, total 22,331. And you get that number from 104 people at 197 and 19 people at 97. So what do you think? Let's get some engagement. Tell me what you're thinking. How are you feeling? Is this more than you thought challenges would be? Do you love the fact that there's actually a system? It's really not just 5 days of content, which for me is a very liberating thing to learn, because the reality is you don't have to try and figure out what works. There's a succinct system that we've tested. Now, Michelle asks a great question. Is a challenge best suited for a ticket that's $197 versus a $1,000 product? We have seen people sell products all the way from $17 up to $5,000. Okay. And we have someone right now that's actually landing $8,000 clients from a challenge. So yes, we know it works, and not I think, or it should, or what a great question. We have students all the way from $17 up to $5,000 that have actively sold through the challenge. Okay. And cool. So I want to open it up for questions in just a second, but I want to talk to you and share something with you. I'm not sure exactly why you showed up today, though. If you're loving my copy and my reading between the lines, you might be like, maybe you do know why I showed up today, Zach. But my guess is you're one of these. And if you're sick and tired of trying to make sales, but you end up just wasting time and wasting that hard-earned money on the launch, or if you are totally over spending weeks or months trying to prep for a launch and then it falls flat anyway, or really if you are just feeling like it's finally time to step out, release my offer to the world, and create the financial freedom that you've been dreaming about, you need a plan, and I want to share it. Because here's the thing, nothing I've shared today is theory. This isn't how things should work or how challenges might work. These are real proven systems, and they've been tested in various industries. We have parenting specialists. We have language specialists. Of course, we have business-to-business marketers. We have wellness marketers, relationship coaches, people running masterminds. This is not stuff I think will work. This is stuff that we've proven both in my business and in the business of my students. And fun share, there's really nothing special about me, right? I'm not ordinary, or I'm not extraordinary, so I am ordinary. I'm just a regular guy from Ohio that built this system, plugged it into it, and it works time and time again. And guess what? I'm sitting here in sweatpants, just an average guy. Oh, shoot, I don't think I was supposed to tell you that. I wear sweatpants for my webinars, right? But this should be really liberating, because if I can do this, seriously, guys, so can you. And I know that's easier said than done. So I want to share with you just a couple of my students. This is Christy and Jessica, who said our last 5-day challenge generated $8,500 with a $300 ad spend, thanks to the sound-proven techniques inside Zach's courses. We were able to fill, execute, and deliver a badass challenge while growing our list. Cannot wait to do it again. Then we've got some of our more advanced students. This is Laura Husson, who said, after going through and taking action, so key, on the 5-figure challenge, I added 600 new people to my list, built a brand new Facebook group of raving fans, and as a direct result, sold over $14,000 of group coaching. So those of you asking if it works for coaching, yes, it does. I've learned in a few short weeks how I can magic up a group of hungry buyers from thin air purely by following some simple steps. I would absolutely recommend the 5-figure challenge to anyone looking for a simple and effective launch system, because everything is laid out in such an easy to follow manner that success seemed inevitable. Love that one. This is my buddy Andrew, who I told you about. This was her 4th challenge she'd done, but the first time she used the system, and it worked. She got conversions to 6%, 200 people added to her list. She doubled that, which she grew her engagement. She sold $8,000 in her 48-hour weekend. And this is what I love. She said, the system laid out a step-by-step plan so that I didn't have to try and figure it out. It helped me really quiet some of the inner voices of doubt and fear because all you have to do is show up, work the steps, and trust the process, which is one of my favorite things. And then finally, somebody in the wellness niche, we've got Sandra, who said, not only did I gain 2 new clients for my boot camp at 297, but the whole positive energy around the launch actually turned several of my former fans back into an engaged community. Plus, right out the gate, I was able to break even with my marketing, and I'm excited to say this was my first real and profitable launch. And I added 350 people to my email list from the 5-day challenge. Now, here's a really fun one. She said, another noteworthy change is that I actually had 4 prospects fill out a form on my website to become one-on-one coaching clients. And I've noticed a significant influx of people reaching out for me to help. We talked about this earlier, but launches don't just make money, they make progress. So the big question on your lips right now, or on your tongue, assuming that's where it is how can you use this entire system to quickly and easily build your own 5-figure challenge? Well, lucky for you, I've got an awesome training that I'd like to share with you. And the 5-figure challenge is the complete plug-and-play system for building and executing a highly profitable 5-day challenge that grows your list and influence while it builds the revenue to create that dream life. And it's broken down into 4 phases. And in phase 1, you learn how challenges go from good challenges to getting paid. It's a step-by-step hand-holding to the creation of your challenge, including how to run the system, how to name it, how to come up with a promise, and also learn the systems that I've been developing in 15 minutes. We really just walk you through the entire challenge system in 15, 20 minutes so you get a full sense. Plus, we're going to show you how to use the cyclical challenge sign-up system with templates and implementation. And then in phase 2 is the build it phase. You're going to learn every piece of the challenge and how to build it from square one. You get checklists, workbooks, walkthroughs, nothing is guesswork. And I'll also teach you about that additional page you need to skyrocket conversions and turn challengers into customers. I'll show you how to build out that recap page. Then in phase 3, we actually teach you how to fill it, because what good is it if you know the system and you have a killer challenge, but you can't get people in because you really want help getting signups. So I'm going to show you how to promote your challenge in multiple ways to get the highest possible engagement. You'll learn my no list, no problem promotional secrets. And this is a fun one. I'll show you the 3 customer archetypes you already have to develop promotion that speaks directly to them. Then in the final phase, because the party starts when you get paid, it's the sell it phase. And this is where you turn your free challenge into a profitable launch, including what emails to send, what deadlines to use, and even what to say to sell. I'm going to teach you how to go from self-conscious to sales confident with our non-salesy sales script for your live stream. And I'm going to show you exactly how we're generating as much as $5,000 in sales with a single live stream with the exact system we use. What I love about this training is that it's not ideas. It's not what we think would work. My mantra is, if you're paying me, you should get to look under the hood. So why don't I lift it up while you look around? Finally, of course, we've got some killer bonuses. So we have a private Facebook group that you get access to for 6 months when you join. Imagine an active, engaged, supportive community where you can get help 24/7. Now, I have specific things that I do to make my challenges and my communities engaged, but you can ask anyone and they will tell you, my groups are the best, or at least they'll tell you they're pretty good. You get lifetime access to the program, updates and all that. The private community, you get 6 months access to because it comes with very active engagement from me. You're going to get you're going to get personal feedback from me, and you're also going to get access to the coaching calls. So all of that is rolled out inside of our private community. Lifetime access to the course. But yes, we do limit the group because, we want to make sure it's active and engaged people. Plus, we get 4 live calls with Q&As. Now, here's the thing. Unlike other programs where you're like, oh, it's Q&A calls, we have 4 specific calls designed to help you work through your challenge with time for Q&A. So our first call is all about setting yourself up for a successful challenge. Our second one is about making sure you're paid off or converts. Our third one is all around developing successful sales sequences. And finally, we talk about scaling beyond 10,000. And I talked about how we implement webinars, how we implement some of this more advanced stuff. Now, I'm going to be psychic for a second because I'm willing to bet some of you are already going, oh, but I'm tech challenged. This is totally going to throw me off my game. I'm just not techie. So what do? You go into our tech library. Imagine what it would be like to have someone hold your hand and save you from every tech nightmare before it happens. Our over-the-shoulder tech walkthrough for the entire system is in the library. How do I schedule in ConvertKit? How do I set up my lead page? How do I install my Facebook pixel? You don't have to ask those questions. You just watch a video where I walk you through how to do it. And then, of course, Facebook ads for challenges. You got to learn how to run successful ad campaigns. And we're going to show you how to do it in about an hour. Discover the 2 ad types to run to turn your challenges into cash. And finally, the coup de grace, my favorite bonus. Oh, just kidding. No. This is my favorite bonus. Email templates and samples. Here's my thing. If you're paying me, shouldn't you get to look at exactly what I've done? And samples are great. We're going to give you the examples from one of my 5-figure challenges. But we're also going to give you templates. Copy, paste templates for every email you need to send during the launch. The cyclical challenge signup, the welcome system, the sales email, the daily emails. We are going to show you what to send on every day so you can be as by the books or creative as you want. This is one of my favorite things in the program. And then, of course, I told you a little bit about this, but even if you have a small list, we've got a 2-week system to get hundreds of people on your list, get them excited for your challenge, and actually convert. It works super well. We'll show you how to do it. We've had countless students go through it, and that's included as well. So the big question that's really lingering now is, what's this going to cost, right? You're like, Zach, come on, what's it going to cost? Well, here's the thing. You could spend months trying to do it yourself. You could be like Anne or some of our other students who are like, I'll figure this out. And then your challenge falls flat. You can keep using broken systems. Like, it's very clear and direct. You know you should change, but you're just pushing through. You can test through trial and error. Like I told you, we've been working on this system for over a year to get to the point we are now. You can try to duplicate that, but you got to work through it. And it's going to cost you time and money to do that. You could also get on my waiting list for coaching and then wait a few months because we're totally at capacity, and then $5,000 to have me coach you through your own challenge. That's my base rate. Okay. But when you look at what's inside between the 4 phases, the tech library, the templates, and the samples, I truly believe that this program is worth $10,000 plus, which it should be if it promises that it's a challenge that scales up to and beyond 10,000. I can't sit here and guarantee a $10,000 challenge, not just legally, but of course, morally, right? But we know that this system can make you your first 1,000 and scale you up well beyond 10. We have students that have done it, and we want to help you. And here's the thing. Our students say it's worth it. I can tell you it's worth it, but Lindsay P, right from her mouth, there are countless $2,000 programs that fall so short, not this one, and at half the price. Sherilyn said, exciting to implement, who doesn't love that, and worth 10 times its value. And you can get started today for only $197. The 5-figure challenge is 6 payments of $197, and it's open until next Friday when the doors close on August 25th at midnight. And I realize that the wrong date is showing up. Good on me, right? It's actually going to be next Friday, August 25th. 6 payments of $197. Of course, you can pay in full and save a little bit because it's the internet. That's how it works. We all know that one by now. And I just want to walk you through exactly what that would look like. You head over to 5figurechallenge.com. My team's going to drop it in the link below. Danielle, I'm actually going to throw some love to Danielle. Hey, Danielle, when you type it in, can you include the HTTP so it's clickable for them? Thank you so much. Again, if you joined us a little late, we ended up having to switch webinar platforms, but we can roll with the punches. You're going to head to 5figurechallenge.com. You'll scroll down and choose how you want to join. You'll see our nice, pretty checkout page, totally secure. We have it on a secure server. Then you get to log into your members area, and yes, you get instant access to everything. So big question is always, do I get access to everything? Yes, it's all there waiting. From the time you get your login, you can watch anything from phase 1 through 4, not dripped, not pre-launch, all available to you. Now, of course, we have a guarantee, and I'm going to take questions in just a second. I see them coming in, but I want you to know, I want you to feel 100% confident in your purchase. So we have a 60-day use it, test it, finish a challenge guarantee. If in the next 60 days you run a 5-day challenge, you send us the emails and the files, and we'll process a refund the next business day. Because here is my non-equivocal, not afraid to say it. If you buy the program and don't do the work, I can't be responsible for that. I will do my best to show up and support and love and give you everything you need to crush it. But if you show up and don't do the work, I can't refund you because that's your responsibility. That being said, if you show up, do the work, and don't get paid, that's my responsibility. We want to make that right. So of course, we've got a process, and we think that 60 days is totally enough to run a challenge. We've got a 30-day challenge calendar in the program, so you can get a challenge out in 30 days, plus 15 days before and after as a buffer. So we built this out for you, okay? Now, when you join, you're going to get the complete 5-figure challenge system, instant access to the online membership site, all 4 phases, 30 videos, templates, workbooks, the complete tech libraries, the Facebook group because you're my VIP, and of course, one more thing that a few of you have asked about. If you join while we're live on the webinar, in September, I'm going to host a 90-minute live training recorded with templates, maps, and behind the scenes of the bots that I use from this. So in our challenge, we have now added in Facebook Messenger bots literally in the past 2 weeks, and we've seen it increase engagement in our challenge by up to 100%, which we believe we can attribute very strongly to Messenger bots. We get more people showing up live, more people engaging. So if you join now, you'll get invited exclusively to our 90-minute live training in September, where I'll walk you through how to add bots on top of your challenge. Why is it in September and why is it later? Because I wouldn't recommend bots on your first challenge. Some people want to go all in, and that's okay. But we have a saying at Hustle and Hustle, which is KISS. Keep it simple to start. But when you're ready to up level, we'll give you our bots training totally free. Okay. It will cost after this class. It'll become a $97 upsell. We think it's easily worth $200 just based on what it's done for our challenge alone. And it's yours when you join now. Okay. So with that being said, let's take some questions. My assistant is going to send some questions over here. Not my assistant, my manager. Thank you so much, Danielle, for popping on. She's going to send some questions over and we're going to answer them. So let's hang out. Let's chitty chat. Let's answer some questions. And if you join, my team will let me know so I can give you shout outs. I love doing shout outs. So let me actually, you know what, guys? I like showing my face. Are you guys like me? I like having face to screen when I'm doing Q&A because that's more fun, right? You guys saw the slides. You saw all that. Clearly, I have some kind of hat hair that I did not know I had going on. But here I am. So let's open it up for Q&A. I've already got a few questions over here, and I'm looking at them over here because I've got my little MacBook. My VA is hooking me up. So does it work in any industry or niche? So any industry or niche, that's a little bit of a broad statement, but here are just a few of the niches that we have run these challenges in and seen success. Foreign language learning, financial advice and budgeting. We've seen people in health and wellness, business to business, spirituality, masterminds, group coaching, web services, web development, and some other one-off services we've seen. So yes, we know this works really well. Lay said, how did you Facebook message us all? Was that an app or just in Facebook? So it's with an app called ManyChat. For those of you that are kind of wondering what she's asking about, we have messenger reminders, okay? We have messenger reminders that go out every day of the challenge, and we preset them. We sent them out in real time, and basically it encouraged people to join in the group, engage. We actually tracked side-by-side engagement. I'm a super nerd, so it's on this like super unappealing spreadsheet, which is why we didn't put it in the webinar. But we actually see that most of our stats, not all, but most of them have gone up by over 100%. And that's things like video views, shares, engagement, comments on the post from the challenge. And we had a comparable number of challengers in both trainings. So we know that there is a dramatically higher increase in engagement than there is from increase in signups, right? It's not more signups led to more engagement. It's more engagement led to more engagement, which is a really cool place to be. So yes, that is when you buy now on the webinar. That class will be live in September. We haven't set a date yet. Why? Because I'm actually headed to Australia for a speaking event. I get back on September 4th. And knowing me, I would do it on September 5th, but I'll be exhausted and I won't show up like I want to for you. So my team and I are going to pick a great date in September, push it back a little bit, force you to go through the content first, and then it'll be available. Does this work when you sell a service completed versus a product or a course? Yes, this works great for services. And what we find, and this is so cool, what we find is that if you promote a product, you will get people coming to you for your service. So I know, maybe Danielle can actually chime in if she's still in the chat. Maybe she can back me up a little bit here. Every time we do a challenge, our coaching waitlist increases, and we get people asking us to manage Facebook ads for them, even though that's not part of what we offer, and we refer them out to people, but we always get people coming to us for services and coaching. So yes, not only does it work directly for that, but as a byproduct, like we saw with Sandra, you'll definitely get more sales. Okay. So great question. I'm going to do shout outs in just a minute. I see some of you joining in. I love it. I don't want to get your names wrong. My team is going to send me people who are jumping into the program so I can give you all wunderbar shout outs. Gina from Canada says, Zach, hi Gina. I'm doing this with Amy's webinar that convert. Can I use this with webinars that convert webinar? Yes, guys, let me tell you, no shame in my game. Webinars are not my jam. Ironic because we just tried to use Webinar Jam today. Webinars are not my clear forte. I'm good at them. I love them. I'm not great at teaching them. I send people to Amy. And this webinar that you were just on, if you love this, this was based off her webinar structure. So yes, you could definitely do those. That being said, we've still been, I love Amy. I will talk up Amy's product till the day I die because she's fantastic. I like to run a challenge first and then add on a webinar, right? So it's really going to be your preference. You obviously already have a webinar. If it's already working, this would be a great way to add it on. Cool. So I like to be really direct. I'm not shaming anybody. I love Amy's program and I think it's a fantastic program and we use it. And it's actually where we built a lot of these slide decks from. We hired a designer based off her templates. And she knows because we tell her all the time she's amazing. Okay, Jamie asked a great question. How often can you run the same challenge? Jamie, this is our third time running this challenge. So we're just on the heels of a challenge. You can run it over and over and over again. So this system is designed to duplicate and scale. Absolutely no bones about it. Duplicate and scale. And here's what's cool. You're not going to run the exact same webinar every time. And you're like, well, what do you mean? Didn't you just say I could? Yes, you're going to run the same concept, the same content, but you tweak it and you add. So what I can tell you is if we go way back to our first one, we did not have these really cool Facebook ads running. We did not have messenger bots. We did not have gorgeous slide decks the way we do now. But every time you run it, not only can you use the same content, so we're using the same emails for the challenge, we're using the same sales content, we're even using some of the same testimonials and case studies, right? Even though we've got new ones, we're adding in the new stuff that works. So we say we keep about 80% of our challenge the same, pivot that 20, increase our results and do it again. That being said, we've also done it exactly the same. We have students who have done it exactly the same. And yes, it duplicates and scales. How frequently? I wouldn't do it more than once every 1 to 2 months just because of what it's going to require from you energetically, right? And I don't mean that in like a woo-woo energy kind of way, though that too. I mean, physically, launching is an incredibly mental, physical, and emotional stress. And that's why we teach people to open cart on Friday and close on Sunday, especially for our 9 to 5ers. You can be paying attention to your launch in a time that doesn't dictate the week, right? The weekend is a nice open area. So we've also kind of on the DL designed this program to cater to people who really stress out over launches because that was me. And so now we like to open on the weekends. My question is, how do you promote the challenge to warm organic or is it only ads? So great question. We do a number of things. We post on social media, we email our list, and of course we run ads. Now, in the program, we teach you when to start ads, how to run them. We have a Facebook ad training. We teach you how to send emails to your list. We teach you how to figure out what emails to send to your list. So there's absolutely a happy marriage of organic and paid marketing. And we tell people all the time, do not neglect the power of organic marketing. It works. It works, it works, it works. And I would say that is probably one of the biggest things we get feedback on from our students is they're like, I almost didn't do organic promo and it brought in way more leads than I thought it would. Most of us underestimate our reach because we have like early onset imposter syndrome. You're first getting started and you're like, who am I to do this? And who's going to buy from me? And who's going to trust me? But it works really, really better than you expect. And we're going to teach you how to speak to your different customers. So happy marriage of organic and paid is how we're driving people in. Okay, one of my thoughts that are holding me back is that I'm insecure. How will the numbers be if I launch in my language, which only 5 million people talk? Will the market be large enough to get high enough revenue to defend the effort? Here's the reality. I cannot speak to that, but what I can tell you is that lots of people launch into niche markets all the time, and we have a guarantee if you feel like the rest lines up. Okay, so if you're like, that's not going to work for me. But the flip side is, look at things that are ridiculously niche but work. I mean, let's Google it. I'm actually going to Google it in real time. How many people do CrossFit? Because that's a pretty, believe it or not, that's a niche market. Okay, so CrossFit has 10,000 locations based on LA Weekly as of 2014. Okay, so CrossFit has 10,000 locations. Let's just say that on average, each of those locations has 1,000 people, which I think is pretty, I think that's pretty, reasonable. There's 1 million CrossFitters, right? Now, let's just say I'm being even like again, I'm averaging these, this is like really on the fly data, but let's say that I'm off by 500%. That's 5 million. Okay, to me, 5 million is not as niche of a market as it feels like it might be, just based on the numbers. So that's kind of my feedback. But if you buy it, you launch it in your market and it totally backfires, obviously we would be responsible for refunding you, right? We're not afraid to tell you that. We take ownership for the results if you do the work, okay? We've got a few more questions, but I want to give some congrats here. So I want to give a congrat to Stephanie Mayer and Jessica, and just kidding, we're going to get more congrats. So Danielle, if you want to send me a list of people who just joined, because I can see there's more than 2 because I'm looking at all the little notifications on my phone here. But that gives me your email, not your name. And I like to call people out by name. So great questions. Let's keep going. I have a $50 product. Will this work? We recommend 97 or higher, if I'm being completely honest. It can work for a $50 product, but you'll need to be mindful of your ad spend and your profit margins. If you want, we have a little challenge calculator inside our group. We can probably find that somewhere. That'll kind of help you crunch your numbers. But basically, in order to have a $50 product, I can crunch these numbers for you in real time here. I don't want to get too sidetracked. So I'm going to come back to this question and answer the next one if you don't mind. But we will absolutely answer your question about like, okay, $50 product. Oh, here we go. Got it. So if you want to sell a $50 product, hang on, it's being really wonky on me. Gotta love that. Okay, got it. So if you have a $50 product and you want to have a $5,000, let's just say $1,000 launch, because we can always 10x the numbers from there. You would need to be converting pretty successfully on Facebook ads. And that is why, like, we're not afraid to tell you, we are targeted specifically at coaches, speakers, service providers, online course developers, influencers. That's the big fancy one to say. It's really going to be targeted if your product is 97 or higher, because you need the profit margin to spend on the ads, right? If you have a lower cost product, other traditional marketing methods may work better. And at $50, you don't need 5 days to convince somebody to buy. I need 5 days in a webinar to get you to spend $1,000, right? I don't even really need the webinar. We've done it without the webinar, but I need to convince you and show you that there's value here. So hopefully that helps. It's really going to come down to a personal decision. Does this work for network marketing? Yes, but we do not advertise to network marketers, and here is why. There are various pages, ads, sequences, and templates you'll need to use that will not work with your network marketing company. Just will not, right? We show you how to pixel your checkout page. You can't do that with a network marketing company. We say build out a recap page and link it directly to checkout. You cannot do that with a network marketing company. You have to send them through your referral link. We've had students in network marketing who do it, but it takes more work. It takes more effort. It's really great. It builds a list, does all this stuff, but it takes some creativity and there will be struggles, right? So if you're like, I want to move away from the traditional network marketing model and I want to build a list, I want to market to them, I want to do launches as opposed to, kind of the one-on-one networking, it works, but it takes work. And we've had successful network marketers. So hopefully that helps. Does this course help you develop a product based on your challenge audience needs, or have I missed that? Or am I assuming that I already have a product up and ready to go? Okay, so that's one question. Yes. So we actually have in the program a bonus called the course outline playbook, which is what I give to my high-level clients who are trying to develop a product. Kind of like what I would walk through with someone like one of my one-on-one clients, Jamie, who we mapped out her course, and then over a year, we took it to about 100,000 in sales, which was so freaking cool to do. She put in the work. I was just like, move it around. So I can't take any credit. It was all Jamie. But it was so cool to watch. We teach you how to outline your course based on what your audience needs. We also help you run a challenge that will uncover those needs. So we absolutely have people, you guys can hear my munchkins being all rambunctious. We absolutely have people that build their product in real time. One of them would be Chrissy. She's actually on the sales page. She kind of pre-launched her offer. She had a DIY sales course. She repositioned it based on what people were saying, and it went super, super well for her. So no, you don't need to have a product, but yes, you'll want to build it. And we have something in there that teaches you how to outline it so you can pre-sell it as a bonus. Also, is this promoting additional paid services to make these steps happen? I have ConvertKit, but lead pages and Facebook ads are all additional outgo. Yes, this is such a good question. So here's what services you're going to need to run this. You're going to need an email marketing service. We recommend ConvertKit. You're going to want a landing page service. We recommend lead pages. And you're going to need a smartphone or a way to live stream. Now, here's the cool thing. We've worked with both ConvertKit and lead pages to get you 30-day trials. I want to say that the lead pages one is $1 and the ConvertKit one is free, but requires a credit card. So I can't lie to you, at the end of 30 days, they will bill you, but you can go through our system, lay out your dates, and you could essentially run the challenge to try and generate some of the funds to pay for those. So we reached out to those companies and we got 30-day trials for all of our customers. One is $1, one is not. I couldn't tell you which is which, though, to be completely honest off the top of my head. Okay. Do I recommend contacting influencers that already have mid to large size following in order to better market your product? No, I don't. Now, that being said, it's a fantastic way to build out once your product launches. So what a lot of people don't talk about with affiliate marketing is people want to know your numbers to work with you. So about 2 years ago, I actually did an affiliate venture with a pretty big influencer, which was so much fun. But before we even got to talk about it, they were like, well, what do you convert at? How many products have you sold? What are your rates? People don't want to go blind on a good product. They want to go in on good marketing. Okay. So run a challenge and then reach out to influencers with your conversion rates and your stats. And yes, that can be really effective. I want to do some congratulations here. So let me open up my join because I see so many people joining, but I want to take a peek and make sure that this is good here. Okay. And of course, it's going to be really slow. So maybe I should take another question while trying to get it to load. Okay, I definitely know that this is not showing up right. So, oh, it's because some of you are coming through PayPal. I forgot we added PayPal. Let me open them both up. Let's keep answering questions, okay? Is this training lifelong access? Yes, lifelong access to the training. The Facebook group ends in January, okay? And here's what we do. We're not afraid to tell you this. When the Facebook group ends, you have two options. You can kind of fall to the wayside, and that's okay. Or you can pay $147 to join the next round. Why do we charge $147? Because number one, it's not a big revenue producer for us, right? This is not designed to make a ton of money. We feel like if we charge $147, you're committed enough to being in the next round, right? We just want to keep the group really with people who are super committed. And guess what? People who are in your class that were in the last one, they paid $147 to be here, okay? It actually is $197. We give you a $50 discount before January, but we do that because we only want people in the group that are like really committed and showing up. And that requires an investment, okay? So we actually give you guys a discount to rejoin. It's not a requirement. And that's because you're going to get access to all the new coaching calls, all the new feedback, and all the new support. Okay. Somebody said, I'm still stuck trying to validate my idea. It seems like I couldn't make use of the system while I'm still stuck. Totally not true. And this is a super common one. A lot of people get stuck up in validation. Inside the course, we actually have an advanced validation. We have an entire training called Find Your Promise, which is like a 5 or 7 page workbook that walks you through answering all these questions so you can validate without getting audience feedback. Also, we talk about how do you validate that idea to see, did you even get the right kind of validation? And then finally, we actually walk you through how to build out a challenge based on what we know our audience needs, not just based on what we think they want. So all of that is covered in the first module and just goes more in depth. Validation is not like a one day it's gonna work. It's a process and it's entirely baked into the first phase of the training. So great question. Let's see, let's keep going. Loving the questions, you guys. Okay, so my assistant just told me that there's a lag and that's why I can't see who's joining. So I apologize, but let's try this. I'm gonna try and give shout outs by emails. So we've got Jimmy J, welcome Jimmy. We've got True Fitness. I'm gonna guess that's Vanessa. Thanks for joining, Vanessa. We've got Steph. We've got Jessica N. We've got Sarah P. We've got another Steph that popped in. Hello, Steph. 2 Stephs. That's so fun. And is my PayPal is definitely not loading, you guys. So we're going to see who joined through PayPal, and then I'll give those people shout outs. While we're waiting, mo questions. So guys, I hang out until the questions stop. So you keep them coming as long as you want. How much graphic design do I need to run a challenge? I expect to need some for the FBI, but do I need to get a PDF design for the challenge? No. Most of our people start with Canva. We recommend that you start with Canva, and we'll show you what images you need. In total, you're going to need about 5 images for the day. And then you'll need 2 images for the Facebook ads. And the PDF, we don't recommend going crazy. Throw it in Canva. We tell you what we recommend you do. And that's all covered in there as well. So shout out to, another Sarah. So Sarah, that's so weird. So we have another Sarah that came through. Love it. And everything else is just being slow. So if you join, let me know. We'd love to give you a shout out. This is such a good one. Somebody asked, do I need a team like you to run a challenge? So we actually have this question on our sales page because so many people ask this because, like, let's face it, I have more benefit because I have a team, right? Like, let's just call it what it is. Let's call a duck a duck. I've also been in business for 2.5 years and we generate tons of fun and I pay my team what I think is pretty good money to show up for me, right? I ran a challenge entirely without my team's help to prove it can be done. So yes, you can totally run it without a team. You don't need a team. And when you stack that in with templates, tech trainings, and walkthroughs, we've done our best to make sure you don't need a team at all to make the good stuff happen. Okay. Great question. Elisa said, does this also work for when you want to do a program in person rather than an online program? Yes. Yes, it can. But you need to be able to run ads and attract people locally. Okay. So big but there. Big but. Okay. Sorry. You need to be able to attract local people. So if you already have local outreach or you're willing to spend on local ads tend to cost a little more. But yes, you could absolutely do this to fill an in-person event. And I've done in-person events before and I love them. So plus on top of that, you could use this for an online product and then market your offline event to the list you build. That's actually something we did for our event in Laguna Beach, which was so fun. We sold it out and that was an absolute blast. Does this work for branding and brand consultants? Yup. We just had a brand consultant go through and we had a branding specialist with a course go through it. Both of them had a successful launch. So yes. In the 197 sign up, do we get individual feedback on designing our course? So let me tell you the way feedback works. I'm not afraid to tell you because you want full expectation. So to get like direct feedback from me, all of our coaching calls are done via Zoom. Okay. So it's face-to-face and we give everybody 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how many join, to ask me a question directly. And I pretty much stay on until no one has questions. So there's always time for feedback. I also show up in the group a minimum of 3 times a week with a couple of exceptions. Sometimes I travel. In October, I love you guys, but I'm going on a Disney cruise with someone and I'm going to unplug for a week, right? But I'll give you those warnings in advance. But when I'm working, when it's a regular week, I show up 3 to 4 times a week for about 30 minutes to an hour. I answer questions and I also do some personalized video feedback reviews. I use something called Snagit, which lets me record my screen and I talk for anywhere from like 2 to 4 minutes and just give you feedback on what's working, what isn't. And you guys can all see the little munchkin. He's like, Dad, I'm done with the webinar. But I'm sorry, Ted, we're not done with the webinar. We have so many more good questions that came in. Do I need to have, just answered that one. Ooh, congrats, Sharon, Jessica, Katrina, Jimmy. Thank you, Danielle. Shout out to you guys for joining. Cannot wait to have you in the program. It's going to be an absolute blast. When doing a launch, what if you have multiple products and services? Do you launch with a couple? How can you implement it all? 1 product per launch. 1 product per launch. So it's just a standard across the board. I had a challenge for my live program, a challenge for my Facebook ads program, and a challenge for my challenge program. All separate because remember what we said about the challenge? It needs to speak to 1 problem. If you're trying to serve 5 different problems with 1 challenge, not going to work. Okay. Let's see. When doing, just read that one. Do you name your Facebook group the same as your challenge? Ooh, good one. So I like to name it what my course is called, the 5-Figure Challenge Free Community. And this is based on something that's called the exposure effect, which is a psychological phenomenon, which basically means the more you see my face in the name of the product, the more you trust it. It's just a fact. You don't have to like it, but that's how it is. Because I showed up in your newsfeed every day, Monday through Friday, because you saw me on Livestream, because you saw me on this, because I showed up in your inbox, and because I use the name of the product everywhere, most of you are not like, wow, I wasn't even expecting this, right? So great job. Keep them coming. If our questions slow up, that's okay. It looks like we have a ton of people registered for our class tomorrow, which is going to be real fun. We are doing a live encore tomorrow. But again, 2 things to remind you. Number 1, ask your question, right? Because I'm here. I want to answer them for you. No matter how small or big the question is, answer. If it's too big, I'll tell you. If it's too small, I'm not going to throw any shade. This is your chance. Do not be afraid to take your moment and ask me a question. I also want to give out a shout out to Robin, who just jumped in the program. Welcome, Robin. What's the PDF you mentioned we need to design? So the PDF someone's talking about is at the end of our challenge, we give them a PDF of all the emails. And that's something we do so that people can sign up on Wednesday. They're still going to get that PDF on Friday. It allows us to keep the challenge open and recap everything on Friday. I think that this might be about the PDFs in the program. Are you guys asking about the templates? I can definitely show those if that's something that you guys want. I'll just have to pull one up in the background here and try and do 2 things at once. But I'm happy to pull up one of the templates and give you kind of a peek of what it looks like if I'm reading that question correctly. If not, I'll shut my mouth and move on. So guys, keep the questions coming. See, we've got some people hanging out live. You're hanging out live and you have a question, ask it. Don't be afraid. When do you start marketing the challenge? When do you start marketing the program? Great question. You start marketing the challenge 7 to 10 days in advance. You guys see that fly? What's that about? You start marketing the challenge 5 to 7 days. Restart. You start marketing the challenge 5 to 10 days in advance. We recommend 7 to 10, but if you have to go with 5, that's okay. And then we start marketing the product about Wednesday. And I say Wednesday, but really we just start mentioning it. Like, make sure, on Friday, I'm going to open up something really amazing. We've got a great product around this. Thursday, I talk about it a little more. And then of course, Friday, I'm actually actively marketing and the card is open because you literally couldn't buy the 5-figure challenge yesterday. Okay. Let's see. When you do a webinar like this one, do you normally use lead pages? I don't normally. I do normally. We tried using Webinar Jam, EverWebinar. We did a bunch of tests. We went live and it didn't work. So much like real challenges, tech gremlins happen. They happen to us, even with big launches. But we do usually use lead pages. We were trying to graduate to Webinar Jam. It backfired on us. We'll probably try them again tomorrow if we can get everything working. But yes, we do like lead pages. If I don't have an e-course created, but I'm a coach that loves group coaching, should I create a group first? No, you can totally launch right into group coaching. So if you go to 5figurechallenge.com, Alianka Polanco, she's right on the sales page. She was one of our first 5-figure challenge success stories in terms of had a 5-figure challenge. She sold into a group coaching program. We have people, I want to say Greg P did a financial group coaching program. We had Philip M do a marketing group coaching program. We had Ann Alexson do a spirituality-based coaching program. So yes, it works fantastic for group coaching programs. And if you already have a group program, you don't need to build a course in addition. The only thing is, like, if you only take one-on-one clients, it's kind of hard to close people, but we've also had people do it really successfully. And the big difference is you wouldn't promote a sales page, or you might promote a sales page, but you would promote getting people on the phone to close via a discovery call, and you've built up all the trust in advance. Cool. If we pay via PayPal, is it an auto payment for the next 6 months? Yes. So if you pay $197, it is an auto payment for the next 6 months. It's not the same day every month. It's every 30 days. And we've talked to our payment processor. Unfortunately, that's the way it is, which I don't love, but it's every 30 days, which will always break out to be a month apart at least. I think we mapped it out and we checked. You should never get charged twice in the same month. But yes, it's 30 days apart, auto. Cool. Let's see. For people who sign up during the week, they get the welcome email and then have them in the Facebook group and the PDF summary on Friday. How do you keep them engaged during the gap between the welcome and Friday summary? Several ways. We run very specific retargeting ads. We have very specific wording in the welcome email, and we engage them in the group, and we create tasks that are standalone, which is something we cover a little bit more in depth in the program. Our challenge is kind of a little different, but basically, whether they join on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, they can show up and do what we've asked them to do. And that is vital. Okay. So we make it so that no matter what day they join, they can engage. And that is important to the process. I did videos each day for my 5-day challenge. What are your thoughts on continuing to use my 5-day challenge without a live stream as a freebie option for my website? Great question, Julie. So we actually have done this. And it's something that we actually have available. When you join the program, we do have a $97 upsell available. I'm not afraid to tell you, I love me some upsells. They're great. And if they serve a purpose, why the heck not? Where we will, we teach you how to set up an evergreen challenge. We do this with our Facebook ads program, and it works really, really well for us. It builds our leads. We break even about on our funnel. We're trying to make it more profitable right now with some various tools and tricks and strategies, but it generates sales on passive. It generates leads. And then we go into a big launch like this, we drive all those leads into our product. So great, great job. Okay. I'm going to try and say this name. Ailis, hopefully I got it right, said, I get the concept of a challenge and the key elements, but I'm not sure how to simplify my challenge. I was considering doing a 9-to-5 vegan, but that's not a 15-minute simple daily challenge. Would love your take on how to simplify this type of challenge. So we cover this really extensively inside the program. How do you create micro tasks? You don't have to have your entire day, like, right? So if you're doing meditation, they need to carve out 15 minutes in the day to meditate, right? If you're doing vegan eating, they need to carve out 5 minutes to purge the milk out of their fridge, right? The actual action of the challenge needs to be quick and succinct, right? That's what needs to be quick and direct. Can you recap the PSP? Problem they have, you offer a solution. Okay, so yes. So PSP is essentially exposing the gap, which is what we call it in the program. It's an entire video in the program, the gap. And it's basically the problem they have needs to be solved with a solution to uncover their true problem that we know as the expert that they have. The example that I gave was, or one of them was weight loss, which is their problem is they want to fit into their wedding dress. The solution is a 5-day wedding dress slim down. And the problem they come to is, well, I still need support. I still need accountability. I still need a plan. And then they buy your product, right? So there's that. That's kind of the PSP. I don't know who this was, but they said, you're a beautiful soul and thank you for all the information. You've opened up our brains greatly. Shouting out thanks to you. Thank you. Whoever you were, it came as an anonymous because of our chat system. We had to switch. But thank you. Yes, we love that. Okay, cool. I don't see, oh, just kidding. We've got a few other questions coming in. So again, 2 quick reminders here that I wanna share with you. Actually, I want to share this a little bit differently. I'm going to do something fun. This is totally unscripted. I hadn't planned this. Let me see if I can get my many chat to open here. So real quick, to kind of remind you of what I'm talking about here is, oh, thank you so much, Maria. Maria said, you are seriously fabulous. You make me feel like I can do this. Thank you. That's exactly what we want. Not because we want you to feel that way, but because you can do it. It's doable. Okay. So like I said, if you join before we end this webinar at 5 p.m., we'll just do 5 p.m. cutoff time. If you join, you're going to get my Bots for Challenge, which is a live training that I'm going to implement and show you. Now, what exactly is that? Well, I'll show you. Check this out. On day 4 of our challenge, we said, hey, make sure you head over to today's training. We had 1,000 people sign up for these kind of reminders, a little less, but look at this. 260 people ended up clicking through, and we ended up getting our eyes, remember that exposure effect, in front of 750. Almost 75% of these people like engaged with us. We also used these for our live streams, right? So it increased our live stream show up rates for each of our live streams. We sent them out, all these people opened them and they clicked, and this actually linked to, I'll show you, the live stream video. What a flattering photo that is. So we all want to show you in a live class how to actually get this all set up and how to make it work, okay? So that is the bonus you're going to get, how to implement those, how we implemented those, and how you can implement those as a live class in September when you join while we're live on the webinar. Bots for Challenges. It's going to be really, really cool. Okay. Could you please give an example with a coaching topic? How could I give a first solution to an emotional topic? Learn to say no, how to teach just a little bit. So Suzanne, I will tell you, inside the program, we actually teach you how to construct your promise. And so a lot of people get caught up, and I know that you're like, well, but tell me what to do, right? And I will in a second, but just hear me out. Everybody goes through this of like, well, my topic's different, but it's not. I don't care if you sell coaching. I don't care if you sell widgets. I don't care if you sell a course. I don't care if you sell, it doesn't matter. All of that is totally irrelevant because what you're doing is speaking to the desire and the problem that they have. That's it. So ask what their problem is, ask how you can solve it, Okay. So if I'm going to do emotional coaching, let's say I'm helping people with anxiety, right? And I'm not a doctor, I'm not actually doing that, but they're like, I just want to stop having, I want to stop being nervous all the time. And I say 5 days to calm your nerves, right? And over those 5 days, I'm going to maybe walk them through some exercises and activities. But what I really need them to understand is that anxiety is not a one-trick pony. You're not just going to take my exercise and run with it, but it's manageable. And I want to give you access to my one-on-one coaching where I'll be available. I'll be there to support you. I'll give you additional insights and trainings, right? So that's how you would do that. Now, the cool thing is inside the program, we have a complete workbook that literally says, what do customers struggle with, and walks you through answering specific questions that develops your topic, right? So we make it simple and we say PSP, but in the program, each of those letters has an entire page in a notebook. We walk you through it, and we ask you some very specific questions that kick out what your challenge should be on. Can you please give us, oh, just did that one. Why do this challenge in a Facebook page instead of a group? Okay, so this is a really fun one, and we don't have a ton of time to teach this in the class, but we just ran a challenge, and basically what this person is asking is, some of our challenge happens on my Facebook page. We teach this in the program. We're actually running our daily content as advertisements. We teach you how to do this in the program. We teach you how to set up the audiences. It's so freaking cool. I love it. So we actually put them on our page because we can run ads to make sure the people who sign up for our challenges actually see the content on Facebook. And it doesn't cost a ton of money. It's a fraction of what you spend on your ads. It's very cheap, but very effective. And we teach you how to do that in the program. So that's why we put them on our page and share them into a private group. Now, why a group and a page? Why not just the page then? Because a group naturally facilitates community. The page naturally allows me to run ads. So they have a duality, and they're vitally important that they both exist, okay? Awesome. I think the questions are slowing down, which is okay because I would love to have some tea and coffee. Thank you so much. Danielle brought up a great point, and I will 100% bring this up and show you guys. So if you go to fivefigurechallenge.com, this is just one last thing I want to show you, then we'll wrap it up, final thoughts. If you have a question like, now's the time, you better ask it, okay? So let me share my screen real quick. If you're looking at this anytime over the next week and a half, not even a week and a half, a week, because it really closes, you can always come down here and click on this little message. We're not online at the moment because all hands on deck for our webinar. We had a little webinar crisis, but crisis makes you better, right? You can always click that little button. My team or I will be available. We'll be answering. What's really great is we have a little app on our phone. So I'm available, not 24/7, much love, but most of us sign off at midnight. But we will be available. We will answer questions. And if you have a burning question and we're not available, you fill it out. It kicks an email to us and we respond within 24 hours. So no matter what questions you have, you can get in there and get it answered. So I'm going to wrap up with two things. Number one, I want to remind you, fivefigurechallenge.com. I'm going to drop the link in here real quick so that you can have it. Actually, I'll let Danielle drop it in. So thank you, Danielle. She's going to drop it. Sorry, reading two things at once. So Danielle's going to drop a link in there. Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. There's just too many things happening. Can you tell I don't have the attention span? So I'll leave you with these two things. Number one, if you want to get in on that bots bonus, you have to join while we're on the webinar, okay? That's how you get access to that, all right? Fivefigurechallenge.com. We're going to give you until 5 p.m. my time, which is about 15, 20 more minutes. And I want to answer this question because this is a really great question. I want to show you kind of how to address this. So somebody said, hey, I had posted my outline in your 5-day challenge, and I tagged you and would love your feedback. Can I post again in the group to get feedback? So here is the thing. Especially with my free challenge, I cannot give feedback on everything as much as I want to. We haven't crunched the final numbers, but we know we are at least 5,000 comments, okay? We have at least 5,000 comments that have come in the past week. I can't give feedback on everything. So that's why we offer this advanced one. Not only can I give feedback if you're in the program, I can give more advanced feedback. So if you really want feedback, number one, lean into your accountability partner if you're in a challenge group. And that's what I recommend you tell your challengers, because my goal is to facilitate everyone through the group. You cannot be everyone's superhero. You cannot be Superman in a challenge. I once did it where I committed to commenting and engaging on everyone and I got sick. Not worth it. Not speaking to the underlying promise of this, which is less stress, more results. So we give as much feedback as we can. We encourage accountability partner and we facilitate and said with love. But think about this. I've now created a gap, right? I've created a gap. If you want additional feedback, if you want my eyes on your content, you have to be in the program, right? So it's a really great way to not only facilitate breakthrough, create that community support. We encouraged people to get accountability partners. I do go through, and let me clarify, I go through and I read and like every single comment. And if I see anything that's like, whoa, this is bad, I comment. If I see anything, what I call critical errors, I comment, but I don't comment on everything because that is not the point of the challenge, right? So it's not about free coaching. It's not about giving all your time. It's about showing up in the best way you can with the group that you have. So great questions. Somebody said, I'm ready to purchase. Yay, yeah, yay, yeah. 2 questions. Will I be able to implement this with no list like zero? And I teach dance. Well, my challenge structure will be a little different than what's taught in the course. Would you recommend that I actually show viewers how to dance during the challenge? Great question. So number 1, yes, you can do it without a course. I will highly recommend you go through the small list, big challenge bonus, which is how to create content that attracts people to you that you can then leverage into your list. I'd highly recommend that. And then, yes, you can obviously tweak it. So again, I'll say this, I say it all the time in my group and I will say it here, KISS. Keep it simple to start. Plug into what we have, plug into our systems. But I have this saying, which I tell my people, if you take my stuff and tweak it and run with it, prove me wrong. Prove to me that you can do it a different way. I love when my students go in and say, no, you don't got to do that. You can just do this. I love that. Do it your own way, but start with our basic system because we've put this system through the ringer. Okay. So yes, you can tweak it. Yes, you can change it. And yes, it will work in various niches. Okay. Does this program work if you don't show your face like it's a podcast type program? It can. You would obviously need to have some sort of live or videos recorded. We've had a couple of people that do pre-recorded videos and upload them. I prefer live streaming. You could, Charlie, what are you doing? I don't know if you guys can hear them. They're now carrying on that I have them in the room. Would you quit crunching? What are you doing? What are you doing? Sorry, guys. So no, you don't have to show your face, but a huge part of this is the KLT, the know, like, trust. So I encourage you, push out of your comfort zone and be on camera. Okay. This is right up there. In my mind, this is kind of up there with, a lot of times people are like, do I have to spend money on ads? Here's my thing. I want you to show up fully. Okay. I want you to commit to showing up. I recommend you have face to camera. Whether you don't in your program, that's okay. Oh my gosh. No, just kidding. I read it right. I recommend that. Okay. Now inside my program, it's a lot of slide sharing. It's a lot of over the shoulder because that's how I teach. I think my face is in like maybe 1 or 2 videos. If that, we might have even taken those videos out, but my personality is there, right? So I tell stories. I'm fun. It's like you can see my face when you're watching the videos. So there's nothing wrong with that. But when we're building know, like, and trust, there's nothing like face-to-face contact. And there's actually been some psychology studies done that the brain, believe it or not, doesn't quite understand that. Like, I'm looking at you right now. If you make direct eye contact with me, you know consciously that I'm not in the room with you. There's psychology that says your brain doesn't. Your brain just sees me as a person. And this is the best way to build a connection and trust. So I'm just keeping it real with you, okay? So yes, it will help your conversions to be face to camera. It's not a fun answer, but it's the real answer. So I could lie to you, but like, you know. Cool. Any other questions, you guys? I don't see any. I'm going to see if there's any shout outs that I missed. Danielle, did I miss any shout outs? I don't think so. Oh, I just read those ones. So, oh, I did miss a shout out. Okay. So 2 people. One was Robin. Just kidding. Robin already gave you a shout out. You got to love technology. Y'all, if you are still here with me and you have like trekked through these tech glitches, so much love because we're not usually this glitchy with our tech. So why can't I see your first name of who this is? P. I want to give this shout out. Like, I'm all about the live shout out because you bought live. Paul. Okay, Paul D just joined. Welcome, Paul. Trying to see if there's anybody else that I missed. Jess. This was another one. Okay, cool. All right, let's make sure I didn't miss anybody else. Cool. End of questions. So my team just messaged me. End of questions. Okay, cool. Questions are over. So guys, 5figurechallenge.com. We will drop it in the chat box one more time. You have about 15 minutes to get in if you want to grab that bots bonus. And I want to leave you with this. You have the ability to run a challenge. You really do. We love them. I've walked so many students through this program. In the last 12 months, my students and I have done over $1 million in sales with this system. I am sitting here saying, this is what works. This is what we know works. And if you do the work and it doesn't get you paid, we want to be responsible for that. There is a refund policy that if you show up and run a challenge and don't get paid, that's my fault. Let me show up for you. Because the biggest hurdle you have to overcome right now is, number one, make sure it's a financially sound decision. I don't want you living off bread and water and taking out a second mortgage to join an online course. That's silly, right? But if there's that fear and uncertainty over like, it's a big investment, I want to ask you to trust yourself. Go to the sales page, read the testimonials, and ask yourself, am I going to show up? Am I going to implement this program? Am I committed to doing the work? Because that's who we want in there. That's who we want. So if that's you and you're ready and you want a system that has shown time and time again to work flawlessly for launches, get your booty in there. And one last little shout out, because you got in just in the nick of time. This was the dance person, but it said you were anonymous in here. So let's actually give you a shout out. Lee, just kidding. Lee, I have a friend that has that name. It goes by Lay. So Lee, we are so happy to have you. So guys, 5figurechallenge.com. We cannot wait to kick out this next round with you guys. Hope you have an incredible, incredible, incredible rest of your Friday. I always lose track of my days. Friday, and we will catch you inside the program. Bye, guys.